Welcome back to Perkins Pipes. Got the gorgeous Georg Jensen bent Dublin here. The reason I've got this fellow out, Georg Jensen is a Danish company, and I'm going to be speaking about something that has to do with Denmark. So, as always, let's get this guy lit. Let's get to talking. The book came out in 2007, and I don't know that I read it back then. It probably was around that time, I suppose. I saw it at our local library and picked it up. It's by a guy named Gino Segre, physicist, and the book's titled Faust in Copenhagen, A Struggle for the Soul of Physics. We'll bring a picture of the cover up here for you. And let me just read you. I should have bought the book, I suppose. But this is the one of the blurbs about it on Amazon. Blah, blah, blah. Beginning in 1929, Niels Bohr hosted an annual gathering in Copenhagen for his fellow physicists, where they joked and argued about the new theory of quantum mechanics. Tradition demanded that the younger physicist entertain with a skit, and in 1932, the centenary of Goethe's death, the entertainment was Max Delbrück's parody of Faust. With the proponents of classical physics and the new quantum mechanics fighting for primacy. The discovery of the neutron and the positron had disturbed classical atomic theory, while quantum mechanics raised troubling issues such as how one could find the true position of an electron and how the photon could be both a particle and a wave. Segre brings the scientists and their ideas to vivid life, from convivial Bohr and iconoclastic Wolfgang Pauli, nicknamed Scourge of God, to emotionally guarded Werner Heisenberg, gracious Lisa Meitner, reclusive Paul Dirac, and others, as well as the consequences of their discoveries. For after 1932 came Hitler and World War II, and a new physics that could never be as intimate or as innocent as it had once been. So, I, as you know, am not a physicist. And let me give a little background on why that is, and I have to admit, to my embarrassment. In high school, I remember taking biology and 2 years of chemistry. High school for us was grades 10, 11, 12. Ninth grade was part of junior high. So in high school, I had biology and 2 years of chemistry. Some of my friends did biology, chemistry, and physics. And the physics was a popular class. They did the classic bridge building and bridge breaking stuff and paper airplanes and all that jazz. And I may very well have been wrong. My impression of the teacher was that he was a bit of a jerk. And that is the sole reason I didn't take physics in high school. And that's why I say it's to my embarrassment. Don't judge a book by its cover, all that jazz. What do you want to say? I was in high school. Just seeing him in the hallway, I don't know. There was something about him that put me off. So I didn't take physics in high school. As a result, I never took physics. Any physics at all. Yet along the way, I've been fascinated by physics, especially the quantum stuff and the particle stuff. And I've loved to read the popularized, physics books. I think I've talked before about Michio Kaku's book, Hyperspace, The Elegant Universe by Brian Greene. And I poked around with some stuff from Feynman, Richard Feynman, Einstein and the like. And when I ran across this book, I was intrigued and thumbed through it. Said, "Oh, this is good." So I checked it out of the library. And it got into, among other things, the fact that these brilliant scientists at the beginning of the 20th century, so we're talking the 1920s, 1930s, when they gathered at Niels Bohr's Institute in Copenhagen, they ended the week with the younger physicists having to put on a skit. Now, right there, let's just acknowledge the fact that you've got these brilliant people thinking some of the deepest and highest thoughts mathematically and in science, putting on a skit at the end of their conference. In 1932, they put on a version of Goethe's Faust. What intrigued me by that, and what has intrigued me by that era, I really enjoy reading about those guys. Again, especially Heisenberg and Bohr, again, Pauli, Dirac, people like this. What I like about this is, while they were brilliant in their physics and mathematics, these were also people who knew other stuff. They knew music. They knew how to play music. They knew literature. Obviously, they're putting on a parody sketch of Faust. I think I've talked about that perhaps on this channel before. That sort of broad learning. Yes, these people, their focus was physics. It wasn't classical studies. It wasn't violin. But they knew that stuff. They were broader than just their area. They had other interests. Right? Some of them were married, had children. I mean, and I think there is so often that specialization in the modern world that doesn't allow for the well-rounded, sometimes we refer to the Renaissance man. That well-rounded person who has interest and indeed knowledge in a variety of areas, a variety of subjects. This is one of the things I like about Purdue University, who they've made sure that their engineering degrees students have a background in the liberal arts as well. I'm sure they're not alone in that. And I always refer to the ancient Roman playwright Terence, comedic playwright. And in one of his plays, he has a character who says, "Homo sum, humani nil alienum a me puto." He says, "I'm a human being. I think nothing human to be alien to me." Which is why I like the idea of physicists who are exploring the cutting edge of physics. This is quantum mechanics at the very birth of that area of study, putting on Faust for their own entertainment. Got some questions for you on this one. I don't know, maybe the questions will take us a little bit longer than usual. Do you, at your place of work, or did you, if you're retired now, do you or did you, and your workmates engage in conversation or enjoyment of things beyond work? Now, I'm not just talking about going out for a drink on a Friday night. I'm not talking about that. In the break room, in the lunch room, in your off time, Did you discuss things outside whatever your business or company did? Did you ever do anything creative together? Here are these physicists, they put on a play. They, comedic, and they had fun with it. Did you ever get around and sing songs together? Anybody in your organization play an instrument? Do you ever do that together? Did you ever go out to see a play together? Musical, go to the concert, opera, whatever. Anybody from your work, did you ever go to an evening lecture, perhaps, at a neighboring local or university, not in an area directly connected with your business or your organization? I'm fortunate in education to work, and I've always worked, with some really, really good minds. Any school I've ever been at, whether secondary or university level, and as a result, I've been blessed to have many good conversations and discussions about art and physics and music and politics and economics and history and poetry and other kinds of literature. Yes, sometimes we talk pedagogy, we talk about how to teach. Sometimes with fellow language teachers, we focus on that. But I've had those other conversations with colleagues at work. So have you ever done that? Was that ever a part of your working life? Then on just the purely personal level, whatever your area of focus may have been in life or is in life, again, whether through your work or through a collegiate major, what other areas do you enjoy pursuing? Yes, we know you guys all enjoy pipes, but what else? I see it in the comments all the time. Again, history, philosophy, poetry, music of all genres. What do you enjoy pursuing beyond the limits or the boundary of your professional life? I'm inspired by those early physicists in the early part of the 20th century, and I hope you are too. As Malcolm Guite likes to say, I do these little things in order at last to do nothing. Or as I like to say in Latin, Parva ago ut tandem, nihil agam. Have a wonderful day.